Hey mathematicians, happy Valentine's Day. Let's do our homework. Okay, ooh. So we have a table here. We're looking for the expression of how you can get from your independent variable, which I'm guessing based on the fact that all of these have n's in it, and it says n is the number of items. How do you get from n to this other one, which we don't need a variable for because it's only an expression, not an equation. So I see some additive options, I see some multiplicative options. You need to find the rule that works any number that's in the n column. Do this thing and it will equal the number that's in the, for the sake of talking about it, we'll call it the w column. Same idea here. We're looking for the relationship. I see two options that say this is an additive relationship and two that say it's a multiplicative. You can cross two off right now by looking at what point that is. Goes through the origin, which means we can cross off two of those options. And then you're looking for like maybe another easy relationship. I see that 1 and this number match up. And that number is not 90. So it's not going to be that option. Again, same thing here. We're looking for equations. How do we do something to our independent variable, which is on top when it's like this, to make it equal our dependent variable? How do I get from here to here? How do I get from here to here? It has to be the same rule that gets me from here to here. And the same rule, all four examples. On the back, Jennifer works at a health club, which is a very, very fancy way of saying incredibly expensive gym, overpriced gym, like the gym where they're like, ooh, would you like some coconut water while you're working out? Do you want me to put some cucumbers on your eyes? Like that kind of fancy. Here's the expression to figure out the cost for every person who's going to be part of that fancy, fancy gym. V represents the number of visits per month. So visit per month per, ooh, that's a times word. So I see that the 5 and the V are smushed together. How much it would cost if they were going to go 18 times? So if V equals 18, what is the total cost that they're going to have to pay? Solve that, and you'll know how much that expensive gym is. This is the last problem. It has a ton of different parts, but they're all about this little 2 sentences right here. Rhonda babysits every afternoon for the Thompson family. They pay her $4.50 per hour for the exact amount of time that she babysits. First of all, if you are going to babysit, which is usually a very good way to earn money, you should charge more than this because you can make a ton more than $4.50. Okay, if she worked for 2 hours, $4.50 per hour, 2 hours, how much money? Define the variable for each changing quantity. There are 2 things that could change here. The time she's babysitting and how much money she gets for babysitting. So choose a letter for each of those, right? That letter equals hours she babysits. Letter equals money she makes from babysitting. There's 2 variables that you just defined. Now use those letters. I'm going to say, let's go ahead. I'm looking at this table here. I'm going to say we're going to use H and M. And I'm literally just copying the labels off of this table. Write an equation that uses an H and an M and an equal sign and this number from your problem. Tell me if you are going to add them, multiply them, divide them, subtract them. Oopsie. And then use that rule. Oh, wait, your answer for A should go right here because you now know that 2 hours is $9. I'm not going to write that down. Let's see how many people are watching me on mute who don't get that helpful hint. And then we're going to fill in this table and use these ordered pairs to graph. Label our axes. Okay, this is H for hours. The other one is M for money made. 1 hour. I don't really want to graph 1 hour, but I can graph 2 hours. 2 hours is $9.50. Nope, just $9. I said 50 because I'm looking at half, but that's not half of 1 whole. That's half of 2. Also, $0 for 0 hours. You are not going to be able to fit all 4 ordered pairs from the table on this graph because we don't even have a space for this 12 hours. So don't stress too much about it if you can't get all your points there. Last but not least, use your equation to calculate the number of hours Rhonda will have to work if she made $108, if that's the M. So money she makes is $4.50 per hour. We know she's making $108 Honestly, for mathematical purposes and making your life easier, I'm going to drop that extra 0 because I don't need it. Yeah, it's helpful when I'm talking about money, but if I do division and I have to move my decimal to make it a whole number, I'd rather only move it one time. So isolate your variable, figure out how many hours she worked, and now we're done.